Welcome back to Tasteland. I am Francis Zier.
And I'm Daisy Alioto.
And Daisy, who are we speaking to today?
Today we're speaking with my friend Cole Townsend. He is a developer, a runner, and a startup founder. I have known him since college, and he also helped implement that lovely podcast bar at the top of Clone.fyi, which we can discuss with him.
Which listener you may be listening, if you're on Clone right now, thank Cole.
Meta. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Daisy, I had jury duty for the first time last week.
I can't believe you kept this from me.
Yeah, I think you were texting me about something work related, and I was like, I'll get to it later. But I figured it'd be better to talk about it on the pod. So we record on Tuesdays, right? And I'd had like the thing, whereas the previous week it was like call again after 5 p.m. on Tuesday. So at like 7 p.m. on Tuesday, find out I have to go in the next morning. I promise I'll keep this short, listener. Anyways, I was there all day on Wednesday. We didn't even get called into the courthouse until 4 p.m. They call us in. I've been there since 9 a.m. They're like, all right, well, the judge isn't going to see you today. You can go home. Come back tomorrow at 9:30. So I did come back the next day. And again, I'm just sitting there until lunch, 12:30. They say, okay, it's lunch until 2:15. It's the longest lunch break I've ever had. Anyways, second day we finally get called in, and I'm able to get rejected for selection by the end of the second day. Yeah.
How did you get rejected? What did you do?
We'll keep that off mic. No, I'm a busy guy. I got things to do. But I will say it allowed me to read most of the new pension book, Shadow Ticket. So that was kind of the plus.
A book that arguably was written for people who are waiting to get called in for jury duty.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the platonic ideal of like the Thomas Pynchon reading experience, wouldn't you say?
I absolutely would say too, the captive audience of it all as well. I'd started it before bed a few nights before, and it's I got 20 pages in, and then I was tired and I went to sleep. And so you kind of needed to I don't know, the captive audience of sitting there. I did find I went to lunch there to this Raffaelli's place out in Forest Hills, banquet hall. I was the only customer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you in Queens for jury duty? Is Ridgewood part of Queens?
Shut up. Ridgewood's part of Queens. I live in Queens. Actually Queens, as I like to call it. Yeah. I mean, look, Ridgewood is so not in Queens that I had to take. It was an hour commute to get to the courthouse.
It's a long time. Well, yeah. I read a book by Gabrielle Hamilton, who wrote the book Blood, Bones, and Butter. She's a chef.
Classic combo.
Famously had a restaurant called Prune that I maybe named my newsletter after, maybe not.
Famously a vegan restaurant, right?
No, not vegan.
Okay, I'm incorrect.
Because she was also part of the Spotted Pig. Remember that ended up being a whole thing. And
April
I never. Oh, yeah, but I think she was an investor. I never.
I believe it. April Bloomfield was the chef at
I never went to the Spotted Pig, but so Gabrielle Hamilton, her first book, very much about food. Her second book, this is the story of her family. It's called Next of Kin. She also did a Prune cookbook, so maybe this is technically her third book. This book was so brutal, Francis. I mean,
Blood,
I
Bones,
couldn't.
Butter. Is it about the meat industry?
No, this new memoir, Next of Kin, it's about her family.
Oh, okay.
I could not put it down, but it was so brutal. Did you watch The Bear?
Yeah, but I stopped after. I think first season was good. Stopped halfway through the second season.
Did you watch the Fishes episode?
Oh, that's the Christmas one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the slow tension and dread of familial dysfunction dragged out across an entire book, peeling back layers of the mystery. Siblings are dying. Wait,
this is a memoir or this is fiction?
It's a memoir.
Okay,
I had really bad weird dreams after I wrote it, and but I thought it was fantastic. And then this will tell you how brutal this book was. As a palate cleanser, I'm reading Whiteout by Michael Clooney, which is his memoir of heroin addiction. Because I was like, this will be better. But the other thing I want to tell you, speaking of restaurants, is tonight I'm going to Eel Bar.
Oh. Nice.
You were the person who kind of was the first person to chat up Eel Bar to me at length. And guess who I'm going with?
Are you going with our guest today?
No, friend of the pod, Jeff Rickley.
Oh, okay.
So I'm excited, and like I think, well, tell me what to get.
What to get? I mean, I think they changed the menu with some frequency. But it's getting back into, I guess it's the fall winter season. The fried fish was really good. The shrimp, what are they called? They're like a little pincho, like gildas. The
gilda, yeah,
gildas
it's like an
really
anchovy
good.
and olive and something else, right?
Yeah, get that. Get like a few small things and then like one bigger thing, because it's just fun to get more things. But the gilda was really memorable for me. It's fun to get more things. There was like a shrimp rice that was really nice. I can't remember a bite I was disappointed in.
Yeah,
and the room is just nice. You'll enjoy the room.
I love to enjoy a room. I'm excited. And then we're going to hit up Erin Summers' book after party, I guess.
Just the after party.
Just the after party. I am going to be the conversation partner for her book event tomorrow in Cold Springs, so I don't feel bad about not coming to McNally.
Yeah. That's okay. That's forgivable.
Cole, you just got back from Tokyo relatively recently, and I wanted to ask you, like, people get back from Japan and they enter this like depression of having gone from like a high trust society, or what seems like a high trust society, back to kind of like a low trust society. Obviously the cultures are very different, pros and cons for each, but if it isn't too personal of a question, did you end up with any like post-Japan blues?
I feel like I crashed for about a week. Not really blues so much as like I was exhausted. I slept severe jet lag, and I was like, I'm gonna be great. And here's how. Like, I come back on the flight. I sleep the first flight for all but an hour. Second flight, which is in the US, and so at this point it's like kind of during normal hours, like it is the afternoon. I also sleep that whole flight. And then I get home and it's like, I don't know, 8:00. And I'm like, well, it's about quitting time. Time to go back to sleep at 10. And then I got up the next day at 9 a.m. and I'm like, what is going on? I just slept for like 16 hours and then like had a 12-hour sleep here. I feel like I was just like toasted. It was just, we were really active there and it was really, really, really hot. And I got back and I was just like, normally I'm like pretty active and like running a lot and biking a lot. And I just got back and I was like, I can't do anything. Yeah. So I just did some of the writing that I needed to do, but I don't think like the cultural shift was like less so. Cause like I also work from home. So I'm like so isolated from people. So like I live in a very high trust environment.
Yeah. It's your apartment.
It's just me in my apartment.
Yeah.
It's like, I just leave stuff around and I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty lucky with that sort of stuff too.
It's good. You can trust yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't use public transportation that much if you're biking, right?
No. And like, it's not that hard to drive in Boston. I had kind of a bad situation where I did come back and my car was gone. And that was was like the worst thing.
Just
not
towed?
This trip.
This one.
Wait, you came back from Japan and your car had been towed.
Yeah, because someone was moving.
Okay.
No, not stolen, thank God. But it was towed. And then I had to go through the whole process of getting it back. It's not that fun coming back from a trip.
Annoying. But were you actually parked illegally? No,
just someone was moving, and so they got like a moving vehicle, and I wasn't there to move it.
I feel like that shouldn't be allowed.
They don't care.
Huh.
Interesting.
They just like, I move your car. Like, it's not their fault, but it's like, I wasn't going to be able to do anything about it either. Normally, I'm sure they try and call you, and like, they were not going to be able to call me or reach me or get anyone to move my car. But they didn't tow it like a block. They took it, 5 miles away.
I would have been pretty pissed.
I wasn't happy.
So, okay.
I don't feel strongly about paying taxes. I feel like I've already paid my dues to.
Now you feel strongly about not paying taxes.
Was there a cost associated with this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to pay the towing company, and then there was a ticket.
This doesn't sit well with me, Cole.
Right.
I know.
I'm going to call Michelle Wu on your behalf.
Thank you. I mean, she's not great with traffic violations either.
Oh, famously?
Yeah, she got her motorcade got in an accident.
Well,
I
feel like a motorcade typically has right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been her, actually. Someone.
She was driving.
She was part of a I think she was driving.
Okay, what is the best thing that you ate in Tokyo? Was it just Tokyo, or did you travel to other parts of Japan?
I didn't, just because for my regular, I was I'm off for a week already for my regular job. They kind of need me to do stuff. So I got back. My regular job is a sole retriever. I do software design and development. I'm the person that does all the tech, and I was I kind of want to get back to my schedule.
Also founder.
Oh yeah, co-founder of Sole Retriever, but also the person that does all the tech stuff. And I was I kind of want to get back and be on my routine and that sort of thing. So I was tired after a lot of days running around. But
you need to get back on GitHub. I don't feel right if I'm not pushing fixes.
Right. I was if I'm not interfacing with AI for 8 hours a day, I don't know what I'm doing. My favorite coworker.
Claude or somebody else?
I use Claude. I was using Cursor for a little bit. Now I'm on Claude Code, just terminal, and then Cursor / just the editors for me. So I do my own task, and then I have my little junior developers via Claude that'll run asynchronously. Do an okay job. I don't know. They do fine.
I have a Claude story, actually. This is not a story about me crashing out at Claude, actually. Personal growth.
I don't know if you know this, Cole, but Daisy, every other episode of this podcast talks about how she abuses ChatGPT.
I've gotten upset with it. I've lost my cool. Sometimes it's become a repository for emotions that I can't express in my interactions with other humans, and
people use it for therapy.
Yeah. Well,
anyways,
I wouldn't really describe this as therapy.
What's the story, Daisy?
Okay, the story is so The 10-Year Affair by Erin Summers. I love this book. I read it twice because I am talking with Erin tomorrow in Cold Spring about the book. She got a wonderful review for the book in the New York Times by Adele Waldman, and I was very excited for her. But the way that this review is written, so this is a book that takes place along 2 timelines. The main character meets a guy in her baby group who's also married, and she starts to imagine an affair with him. And so it takes place in 2 timelines where there's the fantasy timeline in her real life. And then midway through the book, they swap. So she starts to actually have an affair with him. And the fantasy life is the possibility of her not having crossed that line. The way that the New York Times review is written makes it sound like the affair is a fantasy throughout and that they never have an affair. And I read it and I was like, oh my God, I humiliated myself because I wrote a semi-review of this book. I was I read it twice. I completely misunderstood. I really thought it switched halfway through. I feel so dumb. I upload the PDF of the entire book into Claude, and I was I just need to know, does this couple actually have an affair? And Claude was yes, midway through, the fantasy becomes reality. And I was oh, thank God. And then I finally admitted to Erin that I had a minor crash out because I was oh my God, the New York Times review is so good. And I'm crying behind the mask, oh, I'm stupid.
Well, did you then upload the New York Times review to Claude and make sure that it had misinterpreted?
I was so relieved I didn't feel like I had to take the additional step. It's just ambiguous. And I think some reviewers don't want to do a spoiler, but
as you just did on the pod.
As I just did. Sorry, guys.
Very Life of Pi.
Mm-hmm.
It is very Life of Pi. Have you read Life of Pi, Francis?
Yeah, like 22 years ago.
That was a deep cut, Cole. Yeah. It's a really good book because when that happens, I didn't see it coming.
I don't remember I read this book in 3rd grade. I don't remember.
3rd grade? That's a little young for Life of Pi.
I was yeah, I might have been around there.
Maybe
it's my mom is a librarian. Is a librarian. She's still a librarian. Once a librarian, always a librarian. And she always would pick out really good books for me. So
is this at the Buffalo Public Library?
That and the high school library, wherever. She was getting them wherever. She was just
shout out to Buffalo, New York.
Shout out Buffalo, New York. That's where I'm from. I still have my Buffalo Library card and my Boston one and a Cambridge one because I use all 3 of them on Libby to get books sooner.
You are sort of dressed as if Arthur was a real boy. So
is it the sweater?
It is the sweater.
He wears a crew neck though.
Yeah,
he has two outfits.
Well, but if he'd grown up to be an adult, he would have more mature.
Like if you were like a little bit cooler and we're like cardigans, we should do those.
It's giving aardvark.
If he went to liberal arts school, he would have switched to cardigan.
Yeah, you're like Sarah Lawrence Arthur.
Cole and I famously went to liberal arts school, and that's how we met.
Mm-hmm. That's cack.
First time we met in person was at a conference to discuss campus sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
And I stole a tank top from him that said "Party with consent," and I still have it.
Wow.
I don't know if I still have mine. We had that was a limited run of those. No, but like I had multiple.
Well, he had a lot of them. That's why I felt fine
we had a lot
taking
of them.
it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But we didn't actually answer what was the best thing that you ate in Tokyo.
Yes. Man, that's a tough one. There was a lot of good food. I think their convenience store food is notably quite good. Very fresh.
I read by the way, they're going to try to take 7-Eleven convenience, like how 7-Eleven Japanese, they're taking it to America. I read.
Congratulations, Jerry Saltz.
7-Eleven CEO.
You can go get like little hand rolls when you get your week of coffee.
Anyways,
I know. I'm excited for that. So I did really like the egg salad sandwich, but like that's not, it's pretty low bar. Like I'm like I can make that at home.
Yeah.
I did have I had a Wagyu beef burger on like the street. And there were options for like single burger, double burger. And I'm like, this has got to be McDonald's style where it's like they have the picture of it and it's like yay big. It's the size of a burger you might get like Applebee's or something like that in the picture. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be half this size. I'm going to get the double. I want more of the beef. And I get the double and it's like also Applebee's size. And this was like 10 a.m. And it was really good. And I ate it and I was like, this was far too much for me at breakfast, and I was just like not hungry.
Did you have to compress it to put it in your mouth?
No, I would slam that thing, and then I had like meat sweats all day. And there were other foods I wanted to try, and I'm like, I don't feel good. We were like at lunch. We went to a number of like different like restaurants and stuff like that, like different styles, and I was just like, I'm gonna have like tiny bites here because I'm still full of beef.
On the subject of travel, I read something this morning, news to me, perhaps news to you. Airbnb is a TechCrunch headline. Airbnb is becoming more social by allowing users to connect with fellow travelers. I'm going to read a brief excerpt from the article. First, when you book an experience, you'll be able to see the names of other people who are in the same experience, along with where they are from. Once the event is over, you can connect with others you met during the experience to exchange photos or make further plans through the app's chat feature after sending them a message request. Users will also see people they met in a new connections tab on their profile. And then there's some bits about privacy. But I thought this was lame.
Marketplace and dating app. Every app that sticks around long enough becomes a marketplace or a dating app.
Spotify just got DMs recently. And speaking of marketplace, the other headline I took from TechCrunch this morning is X is launching a marketplace for buying inactive handles.
I'm okay. The last one I'm fine with, honestly. I feel like that's probably wise, but they're just going to skim off the top there.
Exactly.
Do you have a handle in mind? Is Cole active?
Definitely. He's like a pretty popular designer.
Oh, okay.
He's also a designer and he's better than me.
I'm going to read a brief excerpt from this one too.
It's big of you to admit.
X is launching a marketplace for inactive handles that will allow premium subscribers to request and purchase usernames. Marketplace will offer both free and paid options for requesting or acquiring handles. Rare handles could be priced at anywhere from $2,500 to over 7 figures. But the weird thing here, priority handles refers to usernames that often include full names, multi-word phrases, or alphanumeric combinations. These handles are free to request for Premium Plus and Premium Business subscribers. Here's the weird thing. If a user's request is approved, X will transfer the handle to them for free. However, if a user cancels or downgrades their subscription, their old handle will return to their account after a 30-day grace period. So you can buy handles, but it sounds like to maintain ownership, you have to keep paying.
So it's like a domain. It's literally like a domain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't like that, but it kind of makes sense. Xbox or one of those apps or like services does something like that where you can like buy handles. Like you get assigned a handle randomly and then you can buy better handles if you want. I wonder if they're now kind of kills like some of the creativity of the usernames.
Well, I'm also reminded like there was the whole thing where the Onion bought InfoWars a year or so ago. And then I forget the precise details, but basically Twitter X did not allow The Onion to get ownership of InfoWars Twitter account because they said it was actually never InfoWars property at all. It was the property of X.
Right. I mean, I suppose that's true.
Sounds like
for
they
all
have to get their stories
usernames.
straight.
Yeah. It's like how you, I mean, they can sell them, I guess. It is their property.
I think next Elon Musk's X perhaps will be offering travel experiences as it pursues.
Yeah, the IRL meetups of Spaces. Of Twitter. The IRL meetups for Twitter. It's like that way Guy can coordinate fighting those people that were in his replies.
Oh yeah. Anyways, I didn't really like either of these things. Airbnb experience, I feel like you should just like go to a bar to meet people.
Right. I get why they would do it because like people want to have more of those like IRL meetups or whatever. And it's like, okay, you're doing the same thing. You have similar interests. You're traveling, so you're more likely to be like open to maybe linking up with other people.
It's the cruisification of casual trips.
Fans of Gio Tolentino have not taken her participation well.
I forgot about this.
Yeah. You guys are mad at Gio Tolentino for doing Airbnb SpawnCon. I'm mad at her for getting my husband's entire friend group addicted to Jewel.
What? Did she write like the think piece of Jewel back in the day?
She sure did. And a lot of people who hadn't heard of it were like, you know what? That sounds kind of cool.
It is the least lame looking of
that I agree with.
And it's back, right?
They're all bad for you.
No, but it's back. It's back because they've been like banned for regulation, and then like the gray market ones that like could pop up and more fly by night vape brands. But now the regulation has settled, and now Juul can come back.
I think it might be around certain flavors.
Oh, okay,
Francis, but
like the good ones.
I'm gonna is Juul back?
For a while, it was just mint and Virginia tobacco, and they nixed mango.
Okay, it was in July 2025. According to the Google AI overview, Juuls are back on the market after the FDA reversed its 2022 ban on the company's tobacco and menthol e-cigs.
That was Big Tobacco that lobbied for that. I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm. Big Phil, Mr. Morris.
Yeah, it was like Newport was like, these terrible menthol cigarettes, we cannot have any competition. We got to get rid of Juul.
Did you meet anybody in Japan or do you feel you could have used the Airbnb experiences, or did you meet some people naturally on the street?
I was on like a coordinated trip through Brooks. Shout out Brooks Running. I know they're not a sponsor. You can.
So you were on an experience.
I was on an experience organized already, but we had a great tour guide named Yu. Like she does like tours for all sorts of groups. And then the like PR / like event company that organized it, like they focus on running, and they were the ones that were like responsible for. They found you, who is our tour guide, and like had a whole coordinated trip for us, which was great. And so like we were on I was like with a bunch of other. This is funny because it was like an influencer trip, and we were working with the influencer team. I don't see myself as an influencer. I'm certainly not true media. I'm not real media. This was for my other side gig. Yeah, I was like, I don't feel like I'm real media, but I don't feel like I'm an influencer either. Like I have a very limited Instagram presence for this thing called Running Supply, which covers like the intersection of running fashion, or like running and fashion, and then talk about marketing and brands and that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. So like definitely there's some areas on Substack that are media, and some definitely are people that are just like influencers. This is maybe a little bit in between. But that's why I was there. And all these other people are huge. But like, I didn't do any research on who I was going with. So I just show up there and I'm like, these are a bunch of like nice people, whatever. I was like, this one girl's really funny. She has like 1.5 million TikTok followers and is a comedian. And I was like, that is why she is funny. I get it.
Did you know it? Did you recognize any of them? Had any of them influenced you previously?
She looked really familiar. And I was like, I feel like I've seen her somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen her on my Explore feed.
Uh-huh.
Was her name Lydia?
It was not Lydia. It was Allie and Helen Belair's.
Lydia's the only big running TikToker that I know of.
Oh yeah, most of the people were this was like a lifestyle play for Brooks. Yeah. I was probably the most running of the people there. Everyone else does run, but they were.
You had the best pace. Everybody there.
Yeah, we were not racing. We did a little bit of running, but like more of it was like around Brooks the brand and like lifestyle, and they're breaking back in there.
You've been tracking running gear becoming more of lifestyle and fashion for people that are not traditional runners for a while, and like also the relationship that has with like the social signaling of run clubs, which is I guess an Airbnb experience minus the Airbnb. So I was hoping that you could talk about that a little bit. Like you and I have sort of talked about the various factors influencing this, like some of the bigger sneaker brands moving away from like making stuff for Olympians to making stuff for amateurs, and then maybe even falling off on some of their more Olympian level gear. So I don't know. I know it's like a lot, but can you give us the TLDR?
Yeah. So before any of these new challenger brands came out, so like before the Bandit runnings and like Tracks and stuff like that, there was just like the major brands. And you know, if you look at like the 70s, you think about like jeans. Like there used to be just like one brand of jeans. You go to like wherever department store, and like my mom would buy men's jeans because there's just like one pair of jeans. Now there's Levi's, like a million. Right? Yeah, you just bought Levi's, and just like it's this waist size and this length, and like if you want them to fit your body, you might need to get them tailored. And there were like 2 colors, and now obviously there are a million options of those. But for a while, like they were like the place you went to, and like you kind of didn't care. You're just like, if you want jeans, these are the ones you're getting, and like that's it. Similar thing for running. It was just like you had the major brands that are mostly footwear brands. Like there weren't really that many apparel only running brands. Like you had the running brands, and they did everything. They did footwear, they did apparel, sunglasses for Nike at least. And then right around 2014, I want to say, there was a lot of hot VC funding, and there was a guy in Boston was like, what if I made a cooler running brand that was more expensive? So that's how Tracksmith got started. And shortly after them, Satisfy Running got started, which is like a Parisian-based, like definitely more luxury fashion-y side of things. But Tracksmith was like a really early one. They were like the first to the market. So like everyone thinks about them as a startup, but they've been around for 11 years. And like have stuck around and done relatively well. But now, you know, in the last 5 years there's been like a huge boom in running clubs. You can see some of the data from Strava. Like they've shared a bunch of their studies on like the growth patterns of running clubs. But there's like a lot more people going into that. A lot of people are in their mid 20s, early 30s. They have disposable income. A lot of these are like the biggest ones are in major cities. And so there's a lot of money in running, and a lot of people that like want to invest in their hobby. And so it makes it easier, like as a consumer market for these like sort of challenger brands. And then apparel is the easiest way to get into running. Like running shoes take a while to develop. Runners are very particular about them because like you can hurt yourself and then you will not be running for a long time. But like apparel is pretty easy. Like if your apparel's bad, you can kind of fix it, and like the turnaround's not that terrible. Like a t-shirt is really forgiving versus like a shoe. It's really obvious if it's bad and no one's going to buy it.
Although if you're going to marathon in it, I did see a TikTok of a girl, I believe it was a Bandit shirt, but don't quote me on that. I don't want a lawsuit. And she had sores from doing the marathon in it.
Oof.
Which is like, that's friction, right? Like anything is going to create chafing. Yeah. Anything is going to create chafing if you wear it for long enough. But the really, really scientifically developed apparel brands are going to avoid that because the assumption is people are going to be running marathons in it. And so I guess that's like where things start to separate out between
for like the really long distances. I would say like marathons, longer distance training, like ultra running is like, I assume we're going to see more growth there as well because more people are moving into the marathon and realize they're not very fast. And they're like, but I can keep going at this pace and become ultra runners or do trail. Cause it's like a little bit more of an adventure, I'd say. Like it's less about speed. Like a lot of the spaces, like races, like you're not looking for times. You're like, oh, I'm going to go do it. And now that so many people are doing the marathon, it's more of like, it's less of like oh, I'm doing the marathon. It's more of like well, how fast did you run the marathon? Like it's no longer a completion type thing. And the ultra races and like trail races are definitely still more just about completing
like, did you finish
the thing? Like, did you do it? And so I think that's also attractive people.
What's that one? I think it's in Tennessee. That's like this famously, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I always forget what it's called. I'm a terrible runner for this.
I just remember reading about it once.
There's no single word for it.
The Barkley marathons.
Barkley.
So Lazarus
Barkley
Lake
Marathon.
and this impossible race.
Yeah. People do it.
100 miles.
It's pretty insane though. Like it is like there are laps. Like the payment is like you bring this guy basically like 5 pairs of socks or underwear, undershirts. I think there's limited race support.
Is this on his property?
I believe so.
Interesting.
He's like organized for a while. Like
That's
he's
cool.
Out of the 1,000 or so runners who've ever attempted the race, only 14 people have ever finished with 59,100 feet of climb. It's the equivalent of climbing Mount Everest twice.
Cool. I think you should do this next year.
I don't know if I have what it takes to do this one. I was like, I've done some crazy stuff. I don't know if this is in the cards. It's like really rugged too. Like it's not just the climbing. It's like some of the footing is really bad.
Did you do a desert?
I did. Yeah. I paced my friend. I crewed my friend who did an ultra marathon through the Atacama Desert.
Wow.
And probably ran, I don't know, at least 6 hours a day with her, but probably more. But I didn't use a watch for either of the, like I've paced her twice or crewed her twice, and like I don't bring a watch because like I don't want to know.
Can you explain like what that entails?
The race itself, or like crewing?
Crewing, yeah.
So for crewing, like you are sort of someone's bestie for like all day while they're running and making sure they have the water they need, their sunscreening, eating food and stuff like that. Just because like they're out of it and not really thinking about like a day ahead or 2 days ahead. So like you need to make sure like you're coordinating with them, making sure they're like going the right direction. And just like overall,
but you have to keep pace with them.
Yeah, you also have to keep pace with them. And for like these ultras, for me, like that's not hard. We're going, 13 minute pace, sometimes walking. If you're eating like ramen or something like that, we're not running while we're eating ramen.
How many days?
But we might stay moving. The last one took 3 days, and then the Atacama one took like a little over 3 days. And then
do people run through the night?
Yeah. I think we slept. The most we slept was in the Atacama one. We also did LA to Vegas. The most we slept was the Atacama one. So the first night we got stopped at a police station because they didn't want us to go into the next town because there were robbers, and we were driving a mining truck, and the robbers tend to target mining trucks. Not so much like because we were from outside. The mining trucks have like expensive equipment in them. And so like someone would be like, oh, here's this mining truck. It's got equipment in the back. Let's steal it. And so I think they had like a newer police officer working the night shift. And he's like, if these Americans go through and get robbed, my boss is going to come in the morning and be super mad. Mm. And so that was my guess. So he made us stay there until the morning because we had like a 6 or 8 hour lead. And then that got erased because we just like slept in the parking lot, which was nice. But
who was driving the truck? Was there a third person?
Yeah. So me, my friend Parley was racing, and then her sister Wynn. So like we were alternating driving, but like I probably ran more of it just because I was happy to. Wynn's certainly less of a runner and definitely better at driving annual than I am.
Did you sleep in the truck, in the back of the truck?
Normally we just like camp on the side of the road because like after that first night we were not sleeping more than like 4 hours. Like we would just pull off to the side of the road, set up a mat, and like we were not setting up a tent.
Lead. Yeah.
Less so like lost the lead. Just we were just not. We wanted to be done, and she was like not trying to sleep full nights, and it was pretty competitive between us and this other guy Aaron, who's like a great ultramarathoner as well, and like he was not taking super long rests, and like that's kind of the secret. Did it get? Way colder than I thought. I did not look.
The desert
I did
is
not
cold
do enough research. Yeah, didn't do enough research. It was about 13,000 feet. So like up there, really thin air, gets really cold. Desert gets cold at night. Probably got down to like 40 maybe.
Yeah.
And I had a sleeping bag coated for maybe 55, 60 degrees. So like I was freezing.
Oh, that's the worst feeling.
That's such a.
The first night I didn't sleep anyway.
So warm. That's not even.
No, it's like a really lightweight sleeping bag that I have for like summer camping trips.
That makes sense.
I don't go camping in the winter or in the desert. In
Chile. Something I'm interested in here though is this, like you said something about like how marathons now have become so much more about like performance and like your time, et cetera. And like how you're implying that maybe that didn't used to be the case and it was more just about finishing it. And so like the culture of like people who want to do it just to do it, like that's kind of hard to do now, and you have to do an ultramarathon. Say more about this like performance versus just like doing it to do it culture.
Yeah, I think so. Fewer people, like more people than ever, are doing marathons now. Like all the sign up, like all the stuff for Boston's gotten more competitive. There's a time cutoff for Boston, just for our listeners. there's a pretty competitive raffle entry for like New York and Berlin's, like those are the major marathons. There are plenty of other ones that are like easier to get into, but like the applications year over year have increased a lot in the last 5 years. Pretty much every year we've had like the most applicants to all these marathons, which is like makes sense given we're seeing more people get into running. And the marathon is just like a distance that people know about. Usually there's some sort of like foundations. You're like, okay, this is like a hard thing to accomplish. I'm going to set this high goal. And like, that's going to get me running. Cause like, I want to start running. Very few people are like, I want to run a 5K. So like, that's going to get me into running. Most people can like run a 5K. Like you can go couch to 5K and like accomplish one. Like if you're, young and healthy. I think for the marathon, so many people are doing it now that it's like not as much of an accomplishment. And so you're looking like, oh, I want to get into Boston, which is very much an accomplishment. You have to, if you're a man between 22 and 40, I think your time has to be like under 3 hours or 2:56, which is like just under 7-minute pace, which is like relatively fast, right? So obviously like that makes it definitely more of a time thing, like to get in these races because there's so many more applicants, they've gotten more competitive to get into. And I think if you're looking to do something where it's like, oh, this is hard and so many people are doing marathons, it's not perceived as that hard. It is, trust me, it's still hard. They're moving to doing more of like those adventure races like that. They're in like the 50K range. 50K is 5 miles more than a marathon. So it's 31 miles. So it's like technically an ultra, but it's just over distance. And if you do it on trail, it's going to be slower. I do think they're a little easier on the body just because it's on like a softer surface that's like changing grade and stuff like that. And you're going slower. And also people, I think, do a better job like eating during those because like they stress it more. It's like you can feel better at the end versus if you're trying to run hard for a marathon, like you're maybe not hitting every single aid station. And like maybe your stomach is like feeling a little upset because you're like on your limit. But for a lot of those, like you just can't be on your limit. So you have to take care of yourself a little better.
Can you talk about Soul Retriever as a business? Like, why did you start this company? How many employees do you have? How do you make money? Etc.
For sure. So I got into I was into like menswear in college. And so I feel like there was like posts. Yeah, we know. And that, the salvage denim and like
I read 4Pins as well.
Yeah, if you're like reading 4Pins and stuff like that, like a lot of those people, I feel like you went into a little more streetwear for a hot second while it was
mutual friend Sam Hine can always speak to.
Yeah, mutual friend Sam Hine always speaking to what's hot in menswear and sneakers and stuff like that. So the sneaker boom, like especially like amongst like hype shoes and stuff like that, right around like Yeezys and whatnot, that would have been 2012 or so.
It's like right when we graduated.
Basically right after we graduated, people were like starting to bought shoes and like it was getting really competitive and the resale value was like astronomical on these shoes. Right around 2017 or so, I probably got into a little more of it. My ex-girlfriend was like, you should resell sneakers if you like want to make money. And I was like, never thought about that. Was like looking into more of like the streetwear.
She was really cool.
Stuff.
I still follow her on Instagram.
She still is really cool. She's not in the streetwear reselling game anymore. She's she does garden design. She likes being outside. She was seeking a calmer life, I think, from consulting and flipping sneakers. But the there was like the whole streetwear thing. So I started following that a little bit more. I got a little hype beastie. And realized the money wasn't in selling the sneakers. It was selling software to the people that were trying to buy the sneakers because you never were losing money. You were always making money.
Picks and shovels, baby.
Yep. So I was selling pickaxes and shovels instead of mining. And that was a lot easier. I would do new software already. So like I just designed and built out a software system to like help people do this sort of thing that made it cheaper for them. A lot of people were like the community, I would say, or like especially people selling software within the sneaker botting and like sneaker reselling community is like not super honest. Like the whole market's a real gray area. And like, I feel like a lot of people aren't very professional. It's like, I was just like, I'm going to make this thing cheaper. And like, I'm going to charge this fee and be pretty transparent about like what I'm charging. And so that really appealed to people, and it was pretty low maintenance. And I got a little bit of a reputation as a developer in the community. And that's how I got connected to the other two co-founders. Like, they had hired, unbeknownst to them, a high schooler to build the site out.
Hate it when that happens.
And
Silicon Valley, they would have been bragging about that.
Exactly. They did not know, like, they were just like, oh, there's this sneaker developer. He's accomplished. Like, he said he could do it for X amount of money or whatever. And he hit me up and he was like, I'm kind of stressed with this project. It's kind of like way over time. It's July, like the end of July. I'm going back to school in September. Can you like help me finish this?
Also, I'm 15 years old.
Yeah. And I was like, you're going back to school. I'm like, what school? He was like, high school. And I was like, oh no. It's not like he's in college where he's got like time between classes or weekends, right, or like is away and like can freelance.
No, he's got
just
orchestra in the morning and then school. And then
yeah. I was like, he's going to be gone from 8 to 3 and like has to do homework. Right. Like, I'm like, this is not going to be a thing where he's going to be able to like hack on this and like also be a high schooler. And I was like, okay, let me take a look. So I looked through the project. I'm like, this is probably not quite half done. I was like, let me just like, I'll go talk to these guys and tell them what's up. I was like, would you be happy if you could like them not be mad at you? You get paid out for half of the project and you don't have to touch it again. And like, I will handle it for you. He was like, that would lift so much stress off my shoulders. Cause like, I've been in that situation where I've been like over my head and been like at deadlines and stuff. I was like, I've been there before. And I was like, if this were me, I would be so stoked to get paid like a few grand and like just not have to worry about this project and like call it a win.
Get out of
and
jail
like
free.
no one was just like get out of jail free card. I was like, I will take care of this for you. And I talked to the guys. I was like, listen, if you give me like a little bit of budget, I'll do this for free. I'm not going to code it or anything. Like, I will manage. I'll find you a developer. I'll throw it together because like I'm doing this kid a favor, and like I'll do you guys a favor because I think it's a cool idea. And like I'll throw together a design, and like as long as my design gets used, I will just like manage the developer. So like, then I can say like, oh, I did this project. And then I just kind of like kept doing it because it was like pretty fun, and I was like already in that space.
You got addicted to the shindig. That's what
I got addicted to the shindig. Yeah.
You walked him out
and like was having a lot of fun.
Souls. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
In his souls. No, the kid like later he went on to, he was like doing I'm sure he's doing well now.
And that boy was William Shakespeare.
And that boy was William Shakespeare.
That boy was Virgil Abloh.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Oh no, rest in peace.
But he came back like years later and was at like an MIT coding camp, like he's going to his senior year. And he was like, oh, and he like took me out to a really nice dinner. And I'm like, clearly he's still doing super well. I was like, and he paid for it.
That's awesome.
He was retired.
He had to get like he's basically retired. He was like, yeah, like I'm going to school next year. I got like a full ride. Like I'm doing computer science. I'm like, awesome, man. He's like,
really
let me take you out he's like, let me take you out for dinner. I had to get a special permission slip signed by my parents for the camp.
What?
And he like Ubered over to Cambridge, took me out to dinner. And I was like, this kid's balling. Like showed up in like very cool clothes. Mm-hmm. I showed up in like very normal ones.
He was in like Rick Owens.
What were the shoes?
Yeah, he was like wearing Rick Owens pants.
You were wearing
and, like,
J. Crew.
Yeah, I was wearing like Levi's jeans and like a pair of Nikes, not like cool ones, just like a pair.
Roshi runs, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I was like probably wearing a pair of Cortezes or something like that. Like not lame, but like
or shout out to New
jokey.
Balance though, also a Massachusetts native company. Have you?
Oh yeah, privately owned.
Their headquarters.
I've gone through part of it. I was promised a tour of the archives, which I'm excited to see. I can't wait to go through the archives.
I was told by New Balance Care.
Yeah, I was told.
Do you guys remember Apple Care? Never mind.
No.
Oh, New Balance Care. Do they really have that?
No, they should.
Oh, that'd be fun. I was told by New Balance Care that I would get a tour of the archive, and I'm like excited to go through there and be like, yep, I ran in those in high school, and they are now vintage.
I have that.
Yep. I was like, I ran so many miles in those because of this one runner and ruined my Achilles tendons.
Oh.
Well, I mean, this might be like an exposure bias to me, but I feel like Blackbird Spy Plane had like a really big role in like making those grayed out New Balances cool again.
I do feel like that's exposure bias, but I agree. But they are exposing a lot of people. Mm-hmm. They have like a pretty big following. They have a lot of influence.
Yeah.
I've never owned a pair of
New Balance.
They're great shoes.
Cole will still use them from the archive.
Yeah.
He's going to go Louvre mode.
I did really like, there was this like
9:30 a.m. I'm going to be over there.
New Balance Stray Rats like 5 years ago or something.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Those are really good.
But I don't know if I've ever owned a pair either. No, actually I have. Yeah. Well, I was a lot younger.
I didn't run in them in high school, but I have since, just because like they are readily available in the Boston area. There's like a factory store here, and I have like 5 friends that work at New Balance that are like, hey, we have an extra pair of 9.5s. Who wants them? And then you get free shoes.
It's a good perk. I have skipped a lot of the recent sneaker fashion trends. I kind of skipped Sambas. I skipped.
I did Salomons, but I started running Salomons like 2019, and then like 2 or 3 years ago, there started to be. I couldn't do it. There's too many.
You're like, I don't want to play.
They're so comfortable.
Anymore.
They're great shoes.
Toy Story style.
No, pretty much.
Done with you.
I still have a pair that I use for like painting or how like when I painted this apartment when I moved in, that kind of thing.
You're like, oh, Salomons? You mean my painting shoes?
The beach shoes.
I have like a really beat up pair of like white ones I got on Essence.
My running shoes are actually Salomons.
R.I.P.
Yeah, when my fiance used to work at this website where she would write about gear stuff, and so we got sent those.
Which website?
Gear Patrol.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The Gear Patrol fix.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It was a great time.
Yeah, I was like, I have a pair of Salomon gravel shoes, which is like a new, very interesting new like trend in running. Gravel is taken off in cycling. Like it's kind of like a
I know about it for cycling, but it's like I know of like street running and like track running and trail running. Is this like
kind of gravel is like intermediate trail where it's like they're trying to sell like the door to trail thing. And I guess someone that's been in the industry for a lot longer, like in the running industry, like I've been in the running world, but not industry for a while. I guess they've tried to like bring it in a few times, like the whole idea of road to trail, where it's like a mixed footing or mixed surface shoe, which I'm like, my regular running shoe is a mixed surface shoe. It's like grip is not an issue when I'm like switching from regular road to dirt road. It's fine, but they've been trying to like make that a thing. So they're pushing.
It's like kind of like a rebrand of something that's already happening. Like Don Draper was like, these cigarettes are toasted. It's like tobacco's toasted. Like all of them are toasted, but because you said toasted, you get to claim that as a brand moat.
Right. And I do think there's like, they definitely have a little bit more tread. So like if you're like doing light trail or something like that, where it's like from your house, like if you live in like, I don't know, Flagstaff or something like that, and you can like go out the door and then get on some like dirt roads. It is like nice to have something a little more suitable for it, but you could certainly be fine with just a regular pair of running shoes.
Francis, are you the one who was talking about how like Lay's said that they were made with real potatoes, but like a lot of the population doesn't know that?
No.
All right.
I've always assumed that Lay's were made with real potatoes.
I'm sorry. I talk to too many people on a weekly basis. Shout out to whoever was talking
potato
about
chips.
I think, Pringles are like compressed.
Pringles are
processed food stuff. It's like a special thing. It's like
that's like
things. But Lay's just potatoes.
Pringles is probably asbestos. Pringles.
Yeah, Pringles I feel like are like the fiber board or like the
Huel chips.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the cheap wood that they use? MDF. I feel like Pringles are like the MDF of chips.
I always remember that because my married initials are MDF.
You're so much better than that.
I'm married into particle board initials.
Did you ever go by Marissa?
Not really. No. Yeah. Like my brother.
You could have been Marisky Business on Twitter.
If I have to,
you could buy that on the marketplace.
My older brother, he's only 2 years older than me, and he would call me Rissa Daisy, and then he just dropped the Rissa. And the rest is history.
Cute. I don't think I ever knew the origin of your nickname. This is the first time I'm hearing it.
Well, Daisy is like my legal middle name. So my cousins, shout out to my cousins, like their names are like really just not even at all their names. My cousin, whose real name is Juliana, I had to think about that for a second. Her older sister, when she was born, was like sort of like Peekaboo Street style, just like, no, I'm going to call her Nibby Butterfly. And so like, that's my cousin Nibby. And then my cousin Christina, again, never called her Christina in my life. She goes by Cricket, always has. So yeah, I guess we're one of those families where it's a little bit of a choose your adventure situation.
Nibby Butterfly. That sounds like, I feel like you'd be like selling maximalist glass jewelry out of a small studio in the Lower East Side.
100%. They grew up in Maine, so it's like one of those things where it's like these are either hippies or wasps, like no in between, because wasps have all these weird like names.
Right. Like Cricket, I feel like I was like, that could easily be like, and the first time you hear her name is at her like Deb ball.
Yes. It could be
and you're like,
Dr.
who is
Bronner's?
that? And she walks out and looks beautiful, and you're like, oh my God, that's Cricket.
Right. Cricket is either like Muffy's sister or somebody who uses Dr. Bronner's.
Muffy's sister.
Okay, this reminded me of something I wanted to ask you. Moth Tech, Satisfy's Moth Tech. For listeners who don't know, Satisfy, this luxury running brand we were talking about, they've got this Moth Tech, which I think, when they write it, it's like a TM next to it, but it's trademarked, holes in the shirt.
Yep.
Right? There's nothing like this. It's just like a look. It's
like a Hannah Horvath, like yellow mesh.
Yeah, it's very like the distressed denim, like the ripped denim jeans, like the more rips in the jeans.
It's like what you wear to like Diplo's Run Club.
Yes. Or if you're like running in New York, I would say like there's definitely more of it in New York, not in Boston. No one is wearing Satisfy in here.
Everyone's wearing Brooks.
Everyone's wearing like Tracksmith around here, honestly.
I had no idea, by the way, that Tracksmith was like kind of the first wave of all these brands. That was news to me.
Oh yeah. They started this. They got out of the ground. And then John G is also a local Boston one, and they got off the ground in like 2017, I want to say. They definitely skew more like traditional looking stuff, but they've definitely moved to like
you did some work with Tracksmith, right?
Yeah, I've modeled for them a little bit in during COVID.
I didn't know who.
Well, they needed people locally. Like,
I was reading your newsletter too. You've sold like vintage running gear.
I've done some like vintage pop-ups with them as well, because like their CEO Matt is like has a ton of like old like historic running stuff, because like he's a collector. The store is kind of like got memorabilia in it, which is really cool. Very like, I don't know, like Ralph Lauren style type of thing, or like ALD, I guess, or Bodie. And so like he was like, oh, I'd love to do this. He heard that I'd done one before with the sock company Swiftwick. The CEO of Swiftwick is Mark Chu. Like he used to write for Espresso, and like he's like also like selvage denim, like Red Wing boots, menswear era guy. And he was like much older. Like he was probably out of college reading Four Pins kind of thing. It's like he has a lot more history there. And he was like, I want to do this vintage thing. Heard that I was interested in doing it and was like, let's put this together. Tracksmith saw that one and was like, I would love to do this.
As a curation.
So like I've just like pulled together a collection for each of the major marathons for them.
And where did you source this stuff? Can you give us like
mostly online?
Sauce?
Mostly online. It's like no sauce. Just like checked every single.
Just knowing how to use
Poshmark, Mercari, eBay.
Is it getting harder to find stuff though?
Definitely.
We were talking about this, Danny, right? Like too many people know what they have.
Yeah,
it's just easy to look up what you like. You could post like do a Google reverse image search of whatever you have and be like, oh, cool, this is selling for $250.
Yeah.
So the only way to find stuff now is like
anymore.
Yeah, I killed price arbitrage.
Yeah. So now you have to like know people locally. It's like one of my friends or like acquaintances, store owner of this place called Bill City. This guy, Jeff, he has been like sourcing a lot of stuff from like dealers. And that's the only way really to get the source stuff, because they're not interested in listing one-off items. I think for like more iconic races like these majors, people know what they have. So like you're not getting too many diamonds in the rough here. Yeah. And like most of those dealers aren't selling those ones either, because like they would be like, oh, I know I can get $50 or $80 for this specific t-shirt, so they will pull that out of the pile and photograph it and sell it online.
Yeah,
right. It's still compared to some of the other stuff, it's cheap. I'm sure it'll be triple that now. Like I feel like I'm kicking myself now because like I sold jackets for Swiftwick, like vintage Nike Boston Marathon jackets for like $125, because I was like, I don't want to rip people off, but I can easily get $250 for them. Yeah. And now they're going for $250 online. So I was like, I'm trying to price them like I'm like pricing them like not in the most rip off way, because otherwise it'll look bad for Tracksmith and me. Mm-hmm. But Satisfy's no problem charging $140 for their Moth Tech t-shirts. And then if you're in the US and you're buying it, you're also going to pay a tariff.
Well, I feel the same way. We're starting, we've had prune clippings for a while with our design newsletter, and we're starting to source our own stuff and dip a toe into that. And so I bought a bunch of stuff. It's been like arriving at my house, and like obviously I bought stuff that was underpriced, but not with like the goal of like price gouging our readers, because they're our readers. That's like our community. But with the goal that like if I priced it what I think it should have been in the first place, that we would make a little bit of money back for the labor of having curated it, which is like what it should be about. But in a high trust society.
Is that then something that's like behind the paywall?
No, clippings.
Like I remember too. I'm not a paid subscriber to Blackbird Spy Plan anymore, but I was for like a year or two, a few years ago, and they had like the Spy Plane Mall, which was like a paywalled, like post that they would frequently update with like eBay links, and so they weren't even buying it; they were just curating it for you. But I thought that was like kind of, I liked that as an idea, and just having it like, we're going to curate this for you behind the paywall. You go buy it yourself, but like this is a service we're offering to paid.
That's how clippings works now, but it's not really possible for us if we list it on our Shopify, because even if the description of what it is inside the newsletter is paywalled, people could still find it. That's actually why I bought that executive office book in the first place, to resell. But it has a little rip in the cover, so I think I might just like keep it. But maybe I'll find another cheap copy and flip it.
Well, listener, if you want to find a cheap copy yourself, you should go look it up on eBay. This has been Tasteland. Cole, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Cole.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Cheers.